I'll mute you guys now and we'll get started. We're going to start on our backs this morning. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and come to our backs. My floor is now very slippery, so I'll do my best not to fall over. But go ahead and come down onto your back. And from your back, just take a moment to do maybe pulling knees into your chest and rocking, or footprints to the floor, knees dropping in together. Just move a little bit in your body as you start to lay on your back. And as you move just a little bit, you can close your eyes if that feels good, but start to tune in to your breath. Tune into what's showing up, what your body is telling you. And then set footprints on the ground if your knees are lifted. Drop knees in together to touch. Take a hand to your belly and a hand to your heart. And take a couple big breaths here, just letting yourself feel the connection of your back body against the ground. As you take another couple of deep breaths, also start to tune into an intention for yourself, for your practice. And then softly open your eyes, open your arms up to a T or to a cactus. Knees draw up a little ways, or you can keep footprints on the ground, but then you're going to rock your knees side to side. So again, you can always have your feet on the ground for that, or feet lifted. And as you rock your knees a little side to side, taking those first few moments in some gentle twists, again, notice, what is it that's showing up in your body for you today? And then hands come to your knees and move your knees in as big, wide a circle as you can. And then switch directions with your circles. And then as you come back into center, hold on to your right knee, or you can always hold on behind the back side of your thigh. Extend your left leg all the way out against the ground. Take a little compression. Inhale, switch sides, holding onto your left knee. Extend your right leg all the way out. Take a full big breath. Then inhale, switch sides, holding onto your right knee. This time, take a hold with your right hand and open it up to the right side. Flex your foot and add little movements here, forward and back. And then take it across your body to the left side, maybe holding on to your right knee with your left hand, but take just enough of a twist so that your shoulder is still on the ground on the right side, but you're giving maybe a little stretch to that IT band area, the SI joint area. Take a big breath. Then inhale back up to center, and again, give your right knee a little squeeze. And then switch sides, drawing your left knee in, right leg extends. Take a big deep breath. Then open the left knee out to the left side and move your knee a little forward and back, working through the hip socket a little bit. Then draw your knee across your body to the right side. And as you do that, again, take it just enough so that your left shoulder can still be on the ground. Maybe you open your left arm up. Maybe you take your gaze to the left. Take a big, deep breath. Then inhale back into center and give your knee a squeeze. Footprints to the floor now. And with that, wide feet, coming a little wider than your mat, and then drop your knees side to side. Take some gentle windshield wipers here. And now, stretch your legs out in front of you, stretch your arms overhead, and take a full body reach here, reaching through your heels. Stretch enough so that your low back is a little bit lifted. And then think of reaching through one heel and then reaching through the other heel as if you're walking on a floor. So you're getting a little bit of pivot action through your pelvis. And now cross your right ankle over your left. Take a hold of your right wrist. And then inch your shoulders over to the left, taking a side body stretch here. Take a big deep breath into your right ribs. And then back into center with your torso. Uncross your legs and then take left ankle over your right. Take a hold of your left wrist. Inch your shoulders over to the right a little ways. And take a big breath into your left ribs. And now back into center. Uncross your legs, walk your feet in, and then take your knees over to one side, turning to the side, and then push yourself up to a seat and come onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, settle hips back all the way to your heels, taking a child's pose. And if you'd like to add a prop underneath your torso or underneath your chest, your head, whatever you would like, you're welcome to, turning this into a little bit more of a restorative version of child's pose. Take a deep breath. Take 5 more full breaths right here. And then use your hands to support you to push yourself back up to your hands and knees. You can set and bolster aside. And then from hands and knees, feel free to put something underneath your knees for a little cushion, but we'll pedal out with our legs, letting our hamstrings and backs of our legs get a little bit of a stretch. So root down through the four corners of your palms and all your fingertips. Find that rotation of elbow pits turning forward. Push, standing into your upper back. And now, stretch back with your right leg, toes tucked under on the ground, and give a few pulses here, pushing back so that you're stretching through the calf and then releasing a few times. Then stay pressing back through your heel and lift your right hip up just a little bit. Think of drawing your right shoulder a little further forward. Take a full big breath. And then release your right knee back to the ground. Stretch back with your left leg, toes tucked under, and start some pulses. And as you pulse, just notice for yourself if there are any other sensations on this side that weren't present on the first side. And then a good stretch back through your heel. Lift your left hip up and draw your left shoulder a little forward, lengthening your left side. Deep, full breath. And then release both knees back to the ground. And then inhale, stretch back with your right leg, lifting it up. Turn open with your hip and bend your knee. Press your heel toward the left side. Getting that thigh stretch here. As you take a big breath, push with your hands and expand into your upper back. And now setting right knee down. Inhale, stretch back with your left leg, turn open with your hip, bend your knee and push through your heel. Reach through your thigh. Full, big, deep breath. And then setting both knees down, let's take that stretch through our SI joint and low back that we know and love with that cross-legged version of child's pose before we come up to the wall. So now, as you cross your right leg behind your left, use your hands to help you to reach your hips back, coming into that cross-legged version here of child's pose. Walk your hands further forward, and if it feels good, you can even take them over to the right side. Take a big, deep breath. And then walk your hands back into center, rise back to hands and knees. Resetting yourself, and then crossing left leg behind your right. Use your hands to support you to work your hips back towards your heel. And then maybe walk your hands over to the left as you work them a little further. Full, big, deep breath. And now walk your hands back into center. Come back to hands and knees, uncrossing your legs. And from here, we're going to step forward into a forward fold. So you have your choice. You can do that from your hands and knees. Or if you'd like a down dog, then lift your hips up and back for a moment in your down dog and take a full breath. And then step forward into your forward fold. Take your feet wider than your hips. Inhale and lengthen part way, lifting your chest, lifting your sitting bones. Exhale and fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Then hands to hips, press back on hips. Start to lift up and open through shoulders and rise all the way up to stand. And from your standing position, take a moment to walk feet into hip distance or inner hip distance. Turn your palms forward, close your eyes in your mountain pose, and simply take a moment to feel. Softly opening your eyes, take your hands behind your back to clasp or fists to your low back if clasping feels like a lot on your shoulders today. Lift your shoulders up and back, pressing palms together if your hands are clasped. Think of elbows hugging toward each other. Take a big inhale here, lift your heart up a little higher. Exhale, engage so you're supporting yourself through your low belly and your low ribs. Then if it's comfortable, you can take that ear to shoulder movement. You can drop your head down here and take a couple of shakes of your head no toward the ground. Lift your chin up toward the ceiling and take some half circles here with your chin. Then back in the center, release your arms, give them a little shake. And now reach arms overhead and take a hold of your right wrist over your head. Pull against your wrist, think of elbows reaching out to the side, and then put your shoulder blades onto your back. And in particular, move your right shoulder back, shoulder blade onto your back, even as you turn your ribs forward. Keep pulling apart or trying to pull apart with your hands. Move your right shoulder back, your right elbow back, shoulder blade onto your back, and turn your ribs forward. Take one more big breath here. And then release your arms, turn your palms forward. Take some ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Then arms overhead again, this time taking a hold of your left wrist and pull apart. Arms are overhead and plug in with your left shoulder blade. Move your left shoulder back, your left elbow back, shoulder blade on your back, but turn your ribs forward. Keep that pull, take a full big deep breath. And then gently release your arms. Again, turn palms forward, expanding and opening through the chest. Take a deep breath. And now let's move over to the wall and we'll get a little bit more into the calf muscle, the back of the leg, hamstring stretch. So we're going to take our hands to the wall and our arms are out straight. Now step your left foot or your right foot rather, to the wall. So your toes are up. And as you send your hips back, start to bend your left knee. So your right leg is straight, your left knee is bent, and start to push your hips back. As you lean your chest toward the wall, you're sending sitting bones toward the center of the room. And your head and your chest might move more toward the wall. Take a big, deep breath here. Right hip wraps back. Both sitting bones lift. And then rise back up here so that you're standing tall and adjust your right foot to set more of your foot up on the wall, heel on the ground. If that's in your practice, you might have as much of it as you can already. Take a couple big breaths here with a more upright spine. And now set right foot on the ground and step your left foot up the wall. Heel on the ground, toes lifted. And then as you start to bend your back knee, your right knee, send your hips back and start to get your chest toward the wall as you send your sitting bones up. Wrapping your left hip back, take a deep breath. And then inhale, lift your torso, your back leg can become straight again, but shift your foot so that you're sending more of your foot up the wall. Maybe a little more stretch through the calf and the hamstring. Full big breath. And then gently set both feet down. And now, holding onto the wall with your right hand, you can turn yourself to face forward if you want to, or you can stay facing the wall. Bend your left knee into your chest, take your hand down your shin to your ankle, and pull your foot behind you. So you have this thigh stretch. Give your foot a little engagement in your hand behind you, even out your thighs. Move your sitting bones back so maybe your glute on the left side touches your heel. Lift your chest. Big deep breath. Energetically reach through your thigh. And then gently release your foot. And switching sides, you're holding on now with your left hand. And again, you can be turned with your torso away from the wall, or you can face it, either one. Pick your right knee up, take a hold of your shin, slide your hand down to your ankle, and then pull your foot behind you. And from this place, even out your thighs, push your sitting bones back, and then reach through your thigh. Lift your chest, take a big breath. And then gently release your foot down. Go ahead and come back to the front of your mat. Make sure blocks are handy. And we'll take one more hamstring stretch before we come back down onto our mats. Feet are inner hip distance apart. Lift and spread your toes and then root them down. Hands come to your heart. Close your eyes and take a moment to feel. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, bend knees to fold over your legs. Inhale, lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. And then hands come up to the highest point of your blocks. Heel toe your feet out, a little wider than your hips. Bend your right knee, send your left thigh back, extend your heart forward. Both feet are evenly planted, even as your legs are uneven, with one being straight and one being bent. Take a big, full, deep breath and send your sitting bone, especially on the left side, up. And now bend your left knee. Right leg works towards straight, sending your right thigh back. Sitting bones lift, extend your heart forward, take a full breath. And now switch again, bending your right knee, sending your left thigh back. And as you do so, sending sitting bones up, extend your heart. If you'd like to, you can turn this a little bit more into a twist, taking your left hand to your hip or your low back, turning your belly and your heart toward the left side, shoulder blades engage. Deep breath. On your exhale, both hands are back down at your blocks. Bend your left knee, right thigh presses back. And again, if you want to, you can add that little bit of extra twist, bringing your right hand up to your hip or your low back. Turning your belly and your heart to the right side. Take a big, deep breath. Shoulder blades engage. Exhaling, both hands come back down to your blocks. You can heel toe your feet back into hip distance and plant hands, step back to either a downward dog or hands and knees, and take a big breath. Then if you're not on your knees already, set your knees down, hips to heels, and take a child's pose. Full couple of breaths in your child's pose. And then gently push yourself all the way back upright to your seat. And let's take our feet together in that diamond shape, soles of feet in front of you. Grab your blanket or whatever you have that you're working with, a blanket preferably. Roll it up and set it over your feet and underneath your legs for that ankle support. Grab the bolster and set it in between your legs and over your blanket. And now move your sitting bones, move them back and broad. Then as you inhale and lengthen, lift up tall. Exhale, take your fold as deeply as your body needs, finding where it is that you need to set your head for a little bit more release. So feel free to add the propping, maybe a stacking of hands or fists. Find what that is for you. Full, big, deep breath. As you add whatever shifts you need to make this a little bit more comfortable, just take a deeper breath to help you sense and tune in and to help your nervous system calm. We have about 3 more breaths from right here. Then inhale and gently bring yourself back upright. And now you can move your bolster aside. You can set it over to the left. We'll come back to that in just a moment. But for now, we'll take the first twist using our legs forward here and not shifting them. So right hand inside your right knee, or if you want to, you can rest your elbow on your leg, or you can rest your elbow on the inside of your knee. It's your choice what variation that right arm needs to be in. Left hand to your hip. Lengthen your spine and turn your belly and your heart to the left side. And from this place, you can stretch if you'd like to. Take a deep breath. Notice how that feels for you. What shows up in your body as you take this little bit of a twist. Inhale, come back up to center. And now for that left side, fingertips to the floor inside your left knee, arm coming to rest at your leg, or arm coming down on the inside of your leg, your choice. Right hand to your hip as you turn yourself a little bit to the right side, lengthen your sides, Draw shoulder blades onto your back, and then feel free to stretch out if that feels good. Then inhale back up to center. And now we're going to take another spinal twist. And this time we're going to turn ourselves and turn our legs. So bolster to that diagonal at your left hip. Turn your right knee to face the same direction as your left. And then you can physically pick up and turn your hips in any amount that you need to come to rest over your bolster. As you take that spinal twist, we're resting over the side of our hip, so you might have some extra sensations through the hip, the IT band, whatever is there. Just notice what it is in your body and adjust to make it more comfortable. So maybe adjust the angle of your legs or the amount of twist. Two more breaths on this side. And use your hands to support you to bring your torso back upright. Bring legs back into that diamond shape. And we're going to pause for a moment. You can shift your bolster over to the other side, but we'll pause for a moment and take another forward fold here. So take an inhale and lengthen, and exhale, hinge from the hips and fold. Full big deep breath. Maybe your head comes down to something, maybe it doesn't, that's okay. Lengthen your spine. Then inhale, come back upright, turning your left knee in the same direction as your right, and then you're turning your torso to whatever angle you need it to be in that diagonal back behind you. Moving your hips, and then settle over your bolster. Take a few moments to settle in, recognizing that we're not symmetrical. So this side might feel different. So adjust to where you need it to be. 3 more breaths on this side. Then use your hands for support. Bring yourself back upright. And back into center, and this time footprints to the floor, knees lifted. And with your hands above or below your knees, we'll take a couple of movements. So inhale and lengthen. Exhale and press your spine back gently. Inhale and exhale. One more, full inhale. Long, deep exhale. Then inhale, sit tall, wrap your right arm around the front of your knees, left fingertips behind you, and lengthen your spine. Tilt your belly forward. And as you take this twist, tone your low ribs a little to help you twist a little bit more. Full big breath. Inhale, come back into center and cross your left elbow around the front of your knees, you have 2 of them. Right fingertips behind your hip and press down to lift and lengthen. Think of that tilt of your pelvis so your belly comes forward. Exhale, low ribs draw in to help you twist. Take a couple deep breaths. Inhale back into center, and now we'll make our way all the way back down onto our backs. Props are handy, and as you come down onto your back, adjust footprints to the floor, adjust your hips. You can pick your hips up and tilt your hips forward and back. Just adjust them to a comfortable place. And now let's lift left or right leg to the sky. Clasp behind the back side of your right leg. Left leg can lengthen all the way out if that feels good, but start to press hamstrings into your hands and find some evening with your hips. So wrap your right hip forward, pull from your left heel into your hip socket. Big full breath. And now just gently take your leg across your body to the left side a little bit so that your right hip is still planted. So a little bit of IT band stretch there. Then back into center, bend your knee and open your knee up to the right side. As we did in the beginning of class, flex your foot and move your knee a little forward and back. And now back into center, set right foot on the ground. Pick your left knee up in toward your chest, lengthen your leg upward, and then clasp behind the back side of your leg. Pressing hamstrings into your hands, flex your foot, and if you want to, you can lengthen your left or your right thigh rather all the way out, right leg all the way out. Then even out your hips, wrapping your left hip forward, drawing from your right heel into your hip socket, and take some big breaths. Now just slightly take your leg across your body to the right side, keeping your left hip on the ground. Again, a good reach through your heel. Full deep breath. Back into center, bend your knee and open your knee up to the left side. Take a big breath and move your knee a little forward and back. Then back into center, both footprints to the ground. Find the prop that you would like to set underneath your hips. Walk your feet in towards your sitting bones. Lift your hips and slide your prop underneath them to let them come to rest. And from this place, you can reach your arms overhead if you'd like. Legs out straight if you would like. Take a few moments in whatever version of restorative bridge you're choosing. And now you can stay right where you are, or we'll take a figure 4 pose here. So if you want, you can keep your left leg all the way extended and cross your right ankle over your left thigh to open your knee up. Or you can bend your knee here. You can bend your left knee to take that figure 4, your choice. Take a big breath wherever that is. And then if you want to add a little rock over to the right hip, then you can take a couple pulses in that direction. And that works with either your left knee bent or your left leg extended out straight. And now we'll switch, crossing the left leg over the right. If that's in your practice, and again, that's optional, you can simply be in your restorative bridge. You can have your right leg extended out straight or knee bent. And then feel free to take those couple of rocks over onto the left hip if you would like. Then back into center, footprints to the ground, bending knees if your legs are out straight. Lift your hips and slip your bolster out from underneath. Hips come back to the ground. And then just to clear through the spine, the low back, the thighs, walk your feet out wide and take a couple of windshield wipers on each side. Slowly dropping both knees to one side and then both knees to the other side. And now walk your feet in enough to drop your knees in together to touch. Take a hand to your belly and a hand to your heart. And close your eyes for a moment, tuning into your body, noticing what's present. Noticing what's there for you. And now choose what position for Shavasana would be the most helpful in allowing you to settle, in allowing you to release and let go. And prop yourself or simply extend yourself out into whatever resting pose you need. Take the time to shift and adjust and make this your pose today. Begin to take a deeper breath. And add gentle movement into fingers and into toes. And as you're ready to bend your knees and roll over to one side. And gently press yourself back up to your seat. When the hands coming to connect with the heart center, take a moment for a full breath. Have a very peaceful rest of your day and have a wonderful weekend. Namaste.
you guys.